What is up, guys? Let's go ahead and dive in. Is multitasking an effective time management strategy, or does it hinder productivity? I think multitasking can be good in certain situations, but overall, I believe multitasking hinders just your ability to focus. What I typically do is I have time blocks throughout the day where I focus on something like admin work or, start right or fulfillment or anything like that. And I set a timer, and there's something about me setting a timer and me knowing that this block will end that creates a pace, creates a fire in me to kind of move and go and make it happen. Let's say that I'm doing that and then I get a phone call and I'm trying to talk to my friend while doing that, it just drops the productivity down by, let's just say we're getting 90% productivity going on that, down to like 30. This happens over and over again. Or like, I'm just not if I have to use my voice, if that's the thing that I'm using to multitask with, like I'm supposed to be doing something, then I'm talking, anything that I'm doing almost stops because I can't do that. I know other people are different. I think that multitasking can have its place though, where you get burnt out a little bit on a task, but now you have task B that you can focus on and do, and you can kind of go back and forth between those things, but not, every minute, every whatever, maybe every hour or something like that. I think that might be where multitasking can be good and maybe not hinder your productivity. Should you sacrifice sleep to accomplish more tasks in a day? My gut feeling is to say yes, but to a limit. Know yourself. I think sleep is really important. So like, for instance, if you are going off 4 hours of sleep and all throughout your day, you just feel terrible, you're now not really productive. And so you taking that extra hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, to get yourself right, then carries throughout the whole day. That's why, sleep is super important. But if you know yourself, let's say that you typically get 7 hours of sleep, and you cut your sleep down to 6 hours of sleep, and you still feel just fine, I would challenge that now you have an extra hour bought back in your day that you can use to do other things. I know my limit. I know I can't function off of 4 hours of sleep. I can do 5. 5's just fine. 6 is even better. But I can't do 4. 4 is crazy. And just know yourself. Just know your body, know yourself, try out a couple things. And when you do take that sacrifice of taking that hour of sleep per day out, fill it with something really productive and really good. Don't just waste it, because then that's like sleep's so important. Don't waste when you're not, you know what I'm trying to say. Can strict schedules kill creativity and spontaneity? Absolutely. But I do think that there's something to keeping a good, consistent schedule. I'm not a person that schedules every other Thursday this, or weekdays, weekends. Like, I'm very much a person that I want my day to look the exact same every single day. Just, I've lined it up so that it works with the kids' schedule and the wife's schedule, all that type of stuff. I just want to have the same repeatable day every day. That itself can make you kind of burn out a little bit or not feel so great or whatever after a while. And that's where I think you have the freedom and choice to say, okay, you know what? This is great, but I'm going to change out my schedule. I'm going to go ahead and look at my calendar now for the week. Maybe it's the next week. And I have the freedom to wipe everything off here, change this and do that. And I think the creativity and spontaneity in that balances out the strictness of what a schedule is. That's personally for me. Is it ethical to outsource personal tasks to free up your time? I'm going to say absolutely not. I think that if you are, and for a very long time, I felt on the other side of this. I felt as though other people couldn't do it as well as me. Whatever the thing was, whether it was design, whether it was web development, I'm the best at this, I can get it done, I'm great, all these different things. But the truth of the matter is your time is extremely valuable. Most people don't know how valuable their time is, because most people work like 9 to 5s or whatever, and they get paid whatever that time is worth. And then any time that they're out of work, they just kind of use it as they go, because they're not getting paid for that time. But if you know, if you're self-employed, you know that you can go out pretty much at any time and hunt, right? You can make as much money or as little money as you want, assuming the market is open, whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing, assuming everything's open. And so then you can actually place a amount on your time with that. Like, okay, cool, I make 30 an hour. Okay, I make 40 an hour. Okay, I make 50 an hour, whatever that time is, right? That being said, like, if there are other things that are in your day, let's just say that you're making 40 an hour doing your regular job. Does it make sense for you to go and cut your lawn? Does it make sense for you to go and, if let's say you're trying to operate a business or do something and your time is worth $40 an hour, does it make sense for you to do something that you can get someone else to pay and do for $10 or $20 an hour? It doesn't. And that's where allowing other people to do what they're best at and you staying in your zone, aces in their places. So definitely on the side of buy back your time every single time. Is time blocking realistic for people with unpredictable lives or jobs? Time blocking, unpredictable lives and jobs. I would challenge unpredictable. I think most of us have a predictable life and our jobs are predictable. I think there are nuances in that, right? Because I'm a father of, 5, soon to be 6 boys or whatever. So there could be unpredictability in my day, right? My life and my job. Like I pretty much choose what I want to do. So there could be unpredictability in that. And of course, I'm just talking for myself, but I think most people work like a 9 to 5, and that's pretty predictable. And we kind of do a lot of the same things. We eat a lot of the same things. So I think that it may be a cop-out to say that my life is so chaotic that I don't have control over it. I would challenge that, like, it's not even a thing of time blocking if you feel as though your life is chaos. I would challenge that looking at your schedule and saying, okay, what are the things that don't need to be in here? And what are the things that keep on coming up that keep on stopping me from doing what I need to do? Because that's the chaos, right? All these other little things coming in and allowing them. And this may come out down to you being like a people pleaser, stuff like that, where you're just saying yes to stuff, which makes it feel chaotic. Time blocking is maybe the opposite of that, where you're like, yo, my time is super valuable. This is my schedule. Boom, 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 boom. If anything tries to intercept and come in play with that, like, no, not happening. And you got to be diligent. And time blocking can stop that chaos. So I think it is very realistic with people that have unpredictable schedules and unpredictable jobs. Does prioritizing work-life balance hinder career growth? Yes, it sure absolutely can. I think that if you kind of go with the mindset of I'm just going to be 50-50, I'm going to be parent over here 50% of the time and I'm going to work 50% of the time, that means that, there's a percentage there that if we're thinking about career growth, that you just don't have time for that growth. Of course, you can get the most out of the 50% or whatever that you're doing, but like you do make sacrifices, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay for us to say, I want to be with my family 50% of the time. Some people may be like, okay, look, I'm in a chapter, I'm in a phase, I'm in a thing right now where it's more like a 70-30 or an 80-20, where like growing and moving and doing my thing. And I think the guilt behind that, you shouldn't have heavy guilt around that. I think it's necessary for us to provide financial freedom for our family. Especially if you are, maybe the main primary earner in the family, it's your duty. That's the other person, assuming, at least this is in my relationship. I don't know what your relationship is, but like my wife, she runs the household. So her duties and like taking care of all the things operational wise, like she does all that stuff. And so it's on me to also take care of my side and make sure financially we are okay and all that stuff. And so that does mean like more hours on the road or more hours. Like there is a sacrifice that you make, and I think only you can kind of make that decision. and know where you're at in your life. So yes, it absolutely can hinder your career growth, but that's the choice that you got to make for yourself. 1 second. All right, let's see what we got here. We have should social media be completely eliminated to save time, even if it has career benefits? I'd say yeah. I challenge social media, because I do think that there's like the endless doom scrolling that you're just kind of going through, which I think that there's a place for that. But as far as career benefits, I think that you can absolutely be on social media like YouTube or whatever your whatever your thing is, podcast, whatever, and you could be listening for hours and learning so much. And I think that's beautiful. So in a sense, YouTube is social media. So I definitely think that could be a bit controversial, because it's all about the depth of the knowledge that you're consuming, right? Right now, I actually stopped. I should be careful on the word of stop, because I haven't stopped it, but I've found a better source of knowledge that's starting to take up more of the pie of my typical listening to, like, the Diary of the CEO or YouTube, podcasts or whatever, because I've made a list of 50 books in each category of things that I'm interested in. 7 days, I have 7 days. Each day technically has 50 books that I'm going to pretty much listen to throughout this year. And that it's already like, I spend $15 on a book, and there's some big profound concept in there that I'm like, oh my God, I need to apply this now. And so I think that it's just choosing your medium of what the best knowledge consumption is for you. And for some people, it may be like that TikTok scrolling type of thing. It's not for me. If I want to learn something really fast, like a type of workout, I will go to TikTok. That's the quick. I want to make sure that I'm getting the most for my time. And so I do that if I need a really quick thing. But if I need something deep, it's going to be an audiobook. It's going to be a YouTube podcast. Something along those lines. Is procrastination a form of creativity or just poor time management? We just made a whole deep dive about procrastination, so definitely check that out. I think that procrastination is it's more of it's poor time. I wouldn't even call it poor time management. It's you feel trapped. You feel stuck in this thing. You've got either you've said yes to so many things, right? And so you don't actually want to do the thing that you're procrastinating on. Or like you are at a crossroad where you're just like, you don't know what direction to go. Or, like I said, it's a project that you feel like you could get done in a certain amount of time, and so you push off. I'm a fan of like just in time. I'm a fan of like things just in time as I do it. And I wouldn't call that procrastination. It's just kind of knowing when you can do something and knock it out. So it is a bit of a back and forth statement, because like you can push things off. You can push fires off that are non-essential, and you got to be able to do that when you're strategizing. You got to know what fires to let burn, and that can be considered procrastination, or just good strategy or time management. But then you take care of the task at hand that's going to burn down the building. So yeah, there's a mixed bag on that one. 1 second. Coffee. Next, do productivity tools and apps create more stress than alleviate? Another yes and no, but I think mostly yes. I think that you can get sucked into the trap of thinking that all these tools will do all these different things for you. But in the truth of the day-to-day, like a lot of times you only use a few tools. And if you know a tool well, like it matters more if you know a tool well versus having so many other things going on. And I think just the simple answer to that is just most times it does create a lot more stress. So I'd evaluate and say, hey, am I doing a lot of busy work here? Jumping between all these different apps? Can I simplify this in some way? And if I can, let's go ahead and do that. Should parents or caregivers be held to the same time management standards as others? Yes, absolutely. We all have control over our time and need to prioritize our time to be efficient with it. And so like parents, just like me, like with my boys, when I'm dad mode, again, I have to prioritize my kids and make sure that they're each getting their one-on-one time for the day. Do my best to like also be like good husband. Like there's just so much that goes on. And of course you may drop a couple balls, each day, but it's about keeping majority of them all running and flowing and doing the thing. And also not being so hard on yourself. A lot of this comes down to most people don't get things done because they feel terrible about themselves. They feel as though they can't do it, or a lot of people have told them that they shouldn't do it, or they have they just have a lot of mixed messages coming in. And so being confident in yourself, we also made another deep dive about confidence. Being confident in yourself, like you know that you're doing the best you can, and you're working, you're strong, you're great. And so sometimes you have to change up your schedule and change up the calendar. And that may feel like really weird and feel all, discombobulating, but you know that you're not being a slacker. You know that you're just doing your best to try to make everything work. So yeah, parents do the best they can. People in the workforce do the best they can. Now it's not a cop out to say, well, I'm just doing the best I can, so nothing else matters. It's just like, in your body, if you are or you aren't. I can't tell you that. Is the concept of hustle culture a toxic approach to time management? I disagree. I think that you got to hustle to do anything. On some real shit, you really have to move and go to make things happen. As you build something, a lot of times you can ease off the gas. Now, there is, of course, work smarter, not harder type of vibes. And if you think about owning assets, I'm listening to Rich Dad Poor Dad right now, and he talks a lot about, there's 4 quadrants. There's the employee, there's the self-employed, there's the owner, and then there's an investor. And employee and self-employed, they work for money, okay? The owner and investor, they own the asset that generates the cash flow. And I think that if you get into the trap of feeling like you have to do everything yourself, you will then get into that like hustle culture of just working your brains out, and it may not be the best leverage for your time. For instance, right now, like I have, I run Start Right, and then when I get a request in, I also have junior designers that I can send the request over. Now I'm a senior creative director. I know how to do the designs. I know how to do all that stuff, but my time is better spent elsewhere now. And so I can then leverage other people's time, and have them do it. Of course it comes out of like cost of goods, right? So you sold it, for a certain amount, and then you pay someone else to do the work, and they're pretty much doing the fulfillment. And then all you're really doing is doing a bit of admin work of making sure that the quality control, and that the client's happy. You're listening to the client and you're sending it back. And of course you're taking on risks by doing that, and you got to know what you're doing. But like, instead of me working 8 hours on said project, I may be working, 30 minutes or an hour on the entire project, just back and forth of kind of sending messages back and forth between the junior designer and the client. And that is working smarter, not harder. Now, you take that and you still have your 24 hours in a day minus your sleep, let's just say 18 hours. And if you fill that with a lot of high leverage activity, like, that's bomb. That's great. That's better than you just working your face off and whatever. Take your time. You have sleep and you have your family. You also have yourself, so take the time for that stuff. But like, your goals you're not going to get to where you want to be by sitting still and not really doing anything. And the more you get okay with like, I have to make some sacrifices and I need to work and do this, do that. If you get burnt out, we talked about this previous, if you get burnt out, be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, get right back up, let's go. Can people realistically manage time without sacrificing their mental health? Yes. I think the biggest thing, again, coming back to the video I made about confidence, is self-love is so important. You have to love yourself and take care of yourself. You are the biggest asset. If you can't work, that's an emergency. That's bad. So your mental health, if you are not okay, that's an emergency. That's not good, right? You work, and let's just say you burn out, but then you have a moment and feel that burn, you feel it, and then you do something kind for yourself, like going to a movie. That's my thing. I love going to movies and doing the thing, and just like, I feel better after it. And so like, if you don't take care of your mental, you will burn out, you won't be okay, and you will not have the drive to keep on going. And you'll pull out and you'll get depressed. I mean, I can't speak exactly all the way for you. I can talk for myself though, but that's what I do for myself. So absolutely, do as much as you can, but realize that when you need a break, you have the permission to take a break, to be kind to yourself. Take that break and have your time and have that day or have whatever, and then get back up. Let's go. Let's get back going. Is saying no to commitments always the best time-saving solution? Yes. I can add a lot to this, but yes. It's just, look at your calendar, clear everything that is not part of getting you to what you're wanting to be or wanting to do, because all that other stuff is sapping your energy. You only have one battery per day, so all the things that are on your calendar, they're all sapping it. This is not about sacrificing your family relationships or sacrificing whatever. It's sacrificing all the unimportant, all the things that are not there. It's not contributing to you in your life. And there are hard things that you do actually have to sacrifice sometimes that you actually love, right? You're like, man, I love playing Magic, but man, that takes up 2 hours a day. I could be using this 2 hours for this other thing. It doesn't mean that you'll never come back to Magic, but it does mean that maybe you have to take a little break from Magic for a little while because you're trying to get somewhere. So yes, absolutely. Saying no to so many things is just the right thing to do. Nope, can't do it. Sorry. It sounds harsh, but by you saying no, you're saying yes to your dreams and your aspirations and the things that you're trying to accomplish. Does focusing on personal development take away from managing immediate priorities? No. I think that there's much time in the day for you to have personal development time while still doing all the things that you have to do in life. I actually have my own schooling, for lack of better words, that I do for myself every day. So literally right after this, I have a book that I'm listening to, and I have like I said, I have a lineup of books in each category of topics that I'm interested in, like money and entrepreneurship and self-development and all these different things, right? And so what I do is while I'm working, I then listen to a book for about 6 to 7 hours a day. And of course, like if you get tired and all that stuff, like take a break, right? But I'm improving my mind. I'm improving myself while working. That's probably one of the best ROIs hacks that I can give you. Do the hard work you have to do. And of course, like if you're scripting, maybe pause your book or whatever, because you need a little time to kind of think and all that stuff. But like if you're doing something that you can do and your brain can be elsewhere, do that and you can improve self-development all through that time. And so you're getting double, you're literally, instead of you having, I want to say instead of you having 24 hours, you have 48 hours. It's not really that, but like you work for a long time. So you probably could be learning for 10 hours a day, if I'm being honest, improving yourself 10 hours a day while doing everything out. And now you have, 34 hours in a day, really, if you think about it. Just saying. All right. Is being busy a legitimate excuse for poor time management? No. I think people just use the word busy as a cop-out excuse. Oh, I'm busy, I can't do this. I can't do X. It's almost victim mentality. I can't do X because of Y. I can't go to the gym because I'm busy, okay? It's like you can go to the gym if you wanted to. You maybe just don't want to. That's okay. So yeah. Should companies reward employees who prioritize productivity over hours worked? There are companies that are pretty much work to goal, where it's like, if you get it done, great. And I think both those environments can work. Just working your regular 40 hours, or working your day-to-day, or working to goal. I think both can work. I don't think it should be one or the other. Some people work really good to goal because they look at it and like, great, I would rather get this done in 4 hours and hustle and work really hard and get it done and knocked out. And some people really like the work-life balance and culture, and they like kind of being in the office and hanging and doing their thing. And it's not just about, let me get the job done as fast as possible or whatever. So they both can work. Sometimes I work to goal. Sometimes I work, just the hours and consistently. Just how I'm feeling. All right. Last one. Is it ever acceptable to cut corners to save time? Yes, in a sense of knowing when to maybe pull out, right? Knowing, there's sunk cost, right? Sometimes you're doing something and it's just not working, but you keep on staying because you've already invested time in it. So knowing when to pull out, because of sunk cost, super important, super, super valuable. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this little deep dive, 30-minute deep dive into time management. I enjoyed kind of doing this kind of rapid fire one. Let me know in the comments below what you do to kind of save time, to get the most of your time, to prioritize your time, how your calendar works, all the things with time management. Throw that in the comments below. I'd love to hear. You guys are the best. Again, remember, if you love what we're doing here and enjoy the podcast, the biggest thing you could do for me is go ahead and hit that subscribe button. My promise to you guys is I'll just keep on making this thing better and better every week. Keep on I'll talk about the self-development topics you want to hear about most. And of course, continue to bring the energy to you. All right. Take care, guys. Peace.